Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Sports Wire. I'm Tyler Purnell.
I'm Andrew Youngworth.
And we have a very special guest today. We have Celtics influencer, over 100,000 followers on TikTok. He's great all across social media. We got Mr. Inangelo here today.
Inangelo, welcome on.
Give it up for
Ian.
On. Andrew, I don't know about
Thank you.
I used to watch this guy's videos all the time after a Celtics dub.
Oh, you kidding me? I've been watching you for years, man.
So, Ian, your videos have been great. We're glad to have you here. This is definitely the biggest episode we've had so far of the Sports Wire.
For sure.
Very grateful you're helping us out today. So without further ado, I say we get right into sum it up.
I say we get right to it. So as both of you know, we're getting close to AllStar weekend for the MLB, AllStar break. The starters have been out, the reserves, and the pitchers have recently come out. I want to hear you guys' thoughts. Who do you think was snubbed? Who do you think should be a starter? What are you guys' thoughts on the AllStar announcements?
So, Ian, I'll have you go first here.
Overall, in the All-Star announcements, I think it was pretty solid. Obviously, I think there were some people that definitely got snubbed. I think one big name, maybe it's because he started slow, but because of his recent performance, Cedar Rafaela.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
Maybe it's just because I'm a Red Sox fan, but the way that Cedar Rafaela has been playing, he has maybe single-handedly carried the Red Sox offense pretty much ever since Rafael Devers got traded. And honestly, I mean, I don't want to. I like Julio Rodriguez, but at the same time, I think Rafaela is having a better season overall and kind of just does everything better than Julio Rodriguez does. And I think that Rafaela should have been in the All-Star game over him. Maybe he'll make it in as a replacement. Who knows? And I think that was probably the biggest snub that I can think of off the top of my head for sure.
I would say Julio Rodriguez this year has been one of the most overrated players in the league. People are still treating him as if it was last season. I think Rafaela is probably the biggest snub. I'd agree with you there.
I agree with both of you here. And I wouldn't say there's a lot of snubs over in the National League. Me and you were talking about one before. It was Max Muncy. So Max Muncy with glasses has been crushing the ball lately.
Yeah.
Without the glasses, he hasn't been great. True. But I was going to read over what we got here. So for the starters for the American League, we got Cal Raleigh behind the dish, Vlad, Glaber, Jose Ramirez, Jacob Wilson, Judge, Riley Green, Baez, and O'Hearn at DH. Starting at pitching, I'm assuming is going to be Skubal. They haven't announced it yet, but I would imagine it's going to be Skubal. So, Ian, were you satisfied with those starters when Passan reported that?
I'm not going to lie. I was pretty shocked that Javier Baez made it as the starter. I thought it was going to be Byron Buxton, personally.
Buxton has been playing so much better.
Would have been a great choice. He's having a huge season.
Yeah.
Maybe I was just maybe it's just because I didn't think about it, but it is kind of crazy that the Tigers have maybe 4. If Skubal starts 4 starters in the All-Star game.
Yeah, that's wild.
No, if you told me that last year, I would not have expected that.
Yeah,
so
absolutely not.
I think it's pretty crazy. But yeah, definitely I would have chosen Buxton over Baez, but I mean that's just me though.
I think the records have a lot to do with it. I mean, you look at Baez's numbers and you look at Buxton's numbers right now. It's not even comparable in almost every single category.
Yeah, Buxton's just bad.
It's not even remotely close. And another one that shocked me was Vladdy starting at first base. I don't think Vladdy should start at first base. I think it's just another team success equals player gets to start, which I don't think is fair.
But Vladdy's a good player for the MLB to have out there at the All-Star game. He's been an All-Star game MVP. He's won the home run derby. If they can get him there, they're gonna get him there no matter what. So I think that kind of came into it, and fan vote was a big part of it.
I think the kid on the Rays has been having a better season than Guerrero, though. I think he should be starting over him.
Hey, he's a reserve though. Aranda?
Yeah,
he's here as a reserve. So yes, the reserves we got are Alejandro Kirk, which I didn't think that would happen, but he's been great. Jonathan Aranda, Bregman, Jazz, Brendan Lau, Pena, Bobby Witt, Junior Caminero, Byron Buxton, our guy, Stephen Kwan, J-Rod, and then Brent Rooker is the other DH. So what are we thinking about those reserves?
I think it's pretty solid. Like I said, I think Rafaela should have been there.
100%.
I'm trying to think of other guys who should have been there off the top of my head.
I can tell you one guy that I think should not be here. I do not think Jazz should have been an All-Star.
No.
Jazz is
for sure.
Jazz is he's a really entertaining player.
He's a Yankee who is a social media player, so of course he's going to make it.
Yeah.
But.
I mean, he is a Yankee, so that probably has a lot to do with it, but I don't think Jazz has put up the numbers. And he was injured for a little while, too. So I don't think he had the numbers personally, but if we want to talk about players that are injured that made it, Bregman's here.
Do you think Bregman starts if he doesn't get hurt?
I think there's definitely
for sure.
There's a conversation to be had that I definitely
Bregman's one of the best players in the league if he doesn't get hurt. He's on pace still. Even when he comes back, he could still
Then over on the pitching side, Red Sox were representing well. We got 2 pitchers in there. We got 2 absolute dominant lefties. We got Chapman. We got Garrett Crochet. But other pitchers, we got Hunter Brown, who's been unbelievable for the Astros.
Ridiculous.
Chris Bubich, who's been great for the Royals. DeGrom, who's the Rangers' only All-Star. Max Fried, obviously been dominant.
Yep.
Kikuchi, who's the Angels' only All-Star. I'm shocked it wasn't Mike Trout, but Trout was hurt for a little bit. Shane Smith of the White Sox. Brian Wu. And then the other 2 bullpen arms are Hader and Munoz. I think they absolutely nailed it with the bullpen arms.
I was about to say, I don't think they really messed up a single pitcher.
I'd say not even top 3 in the American League. I think they've been the 3 best relievers all year, those 3.
I'd say so, too.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like Chapman, Hader, Munoz, how do you feel about the 3 of them?
No, I definitely agree. Chapman, I was honestly surprised that Aroldis Chapman was having as good a season as he is.
Me too.
Especially at 37 years old.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's honestly having maybe like his career season.
Yeah.
Like literally.
Didn't expect that at all. Hader's having a good bounce back year, and Munoz has always been dominant, so I'm not really surprised that they got in. I think all the pitchers are pretty solid for what they had to choose from. Shout out Shane Smith, though. He's from, I think he's from Massachusetts.
Oh, yeah. Gotta love a Massachusetts man represented. Now, heading over to the National League. For our starters, we got Will Smith, Freddie Freeman, Ketel Marte, Manny Machado, Francisco Lindor, Ronald Acuna, which I never thought in a million years he would have been an All-Star this year.
Think so either.
Pete Crow Armstrong, who I think personally might be the National League MVP, Kyle Tucker, and Shohei Ohtani. So, Ian, I think a lot of these were pretty consensus. What do you think about these National League starters?
Not gonna lie, I thought James Wood should have been a starter.
I agree
James
100%.
Wood is having a huge season.
100% on you with that one.
I had a feeling James Wood was going to have a big year this year, and I picked him up in a fantasy baseball league when I first started this year.
Oh,
and
what a
is paying
pickup.
off in
What a
dividends, so
pickup.
Yeah, I drafted him as
I can
well.
tell for
What a
sure
pickup.
James Wood he probably should have been a starter over Acuna.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
I was surprised
What
he didn't
should
even
be
make the
started.
second round of voting, which is also insane.
I was happy, though, that Acuna has been, so great this year because, obviously we've, in, 2 of the last 4 years, we've seen Acuna go down with a season-ending injury. And we've seen what Acuna can do when he's fully healthy. We saw this dude go 40-70, something that had never been done before in the history of not even just the National League, the entire league. So to see him back, I heard he was batting 400 after his first month, which is just absolutely insane. So seeing him back in the All-Star game is going to be awesome.
And you said Lindor's starting, right?
Lindor's starting.
And De La Cruz is not, right?
De La Cruz is not.
That's. I think that's wrong. I think De La Cruz should be starting over Lindor.
I don't know, but I think
They've both been having solid seasons, but De La Cruz has been on fire.
this is, I believe, Lindor's first year as an actual All-Star with the Mets, other than just
really?
a second half demon or a postseason demon. This is the first time he's actually made the All-Star game with
Early
the
in the
Mets.
season.
That's crazy.
Then for reserves, our catcher reserve, I think he could have had a case to start because he's the only good thing going on in Colorado right now. We got Hunter Goodman.
Hunter Goodman would be leading the Red Sox in every batting stat right now if he was on the team.
Yeah, but we got Carlos Narvaez, so it's fine.
But Cora still decides to
Yeah.
play Connor Wong. I don't even know how you look at those two and you go, oh, I'm gonna play
Alex
Connor
Cora is
Wong.
a conversation for another day, if you ask me.
Yeah. Well,
The rest of the infield, we got Pete Alonso, Ellie, Brendan Donovan, Matt Olson, Eugenio Suarez, Corbin Carroll, Kyle Stowers, Fernando Tatis Jr., Ian's guy, James Wood, and then at the DH, Red Sox legend, Kyle Schwarber. So, Ian, I think these reserves are all really solid. We got a lot of guys that can hit the ball pretty far. What are you thinking here about some of these?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only name that is kind of interesting that he's not here is Juan Soto. I know he kind of struggled a little bit,
Yeah.
but I mean, I always
He's picked it up.
kind of picture Juan Soto as one of those guys. No matter what, he's going to end up in the All-Star game anyway. So the fact that he wasn't voted in is kind of crazy, but
Yeah.
I kind of feel like the only reason he wasn't was because Stowers needed to be the only vote for Miami.
That's
So,
that's the one thing that
I
I've
can see why he's not there, but at the same time, it is a little crazy to think that he's not.
That's the one thing I've always wondered about the All-Star game is why every single team needs to have an All-Star.
I don't know.
I've never understood it. The only reason it makes sense is because of MLB The Show. I don't know if you play Diamond Dynasty or not. You know how when Team Affinity comes out, they drop the thing with one All-Star from every team. It's the only way I think that makes sense.
they do it for him would be the show.
Other than that, I don't think it makes a lot of sense.
I don't know. Soto
I
has
guess
picked
it's
it
to
up.
to sell jerseys, I guess. When they were doing the All-Star game jerseys, every team can buy one.
And Ian, this is a little off topic, but I am aware that Kyle Schwarber is a free agent this offseason. Think there's any shining light that Red Sox go make a move and bring him back?
I mean, that would be really cool if they did.
That'd be
I don't know
pretty
if they
dope.
will because they let him go the first time when they already had him. But,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like the idea of having Kyle Schwarber back. He would definitely solidify the DH position.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it'll kind of depend on if they make a move with their outfield logjam right now because Yoshida's coming back tonight. So
Oh,
it'll
there
be
he is.
That's
interesting
right,
to see
he
how
is.
they do with that.
I totally forgot Yoshida was coming back tonight.
I am proud of what Eaton did with his time up here. He had a great
Yeah.
little session up here. Now actually getting into that, as I mentioned, All-Star break coming up. The AL East right now cannot be tighter. We got 4 teams within 6 games of each other. Sox, a game and a half back behind the Rays, and they're about to take on the Rays after tonight's game. Do the Red Sox need to take 3 games? Do they need to sweep them, or can they split it? Because we all know the gauntlet they have to face once All-Star break is over.
I think you gotta take at least 3 games against the Rays. That's just me personally, and I'm wondering what you're thinking here. Like, obviously, we're all Red Sox fans here.
No, I agree. I think they definitely need to take 3 out of 4, just for momentum's sake. You're coming off of 2 series, which hopefully end in a sweep against the Nationals and the Rockies. You definitely just need to keep up the momentum going into the All-Star break because we saw last year they kind of fell apart right after the All-Star break started.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm hoping that they don't do that this year, but
Yeah.
I think they definitely need to take 3 out of 4, especially because, like you said, the AL East is super tight right now.
And just rounding out the All-Stars, we just got the pitchers for the National League. We got Matthew Boyd from the Cubs, Mackenzie Gore from the Nats, Clayton Kershaw, who they did something pretty cool here. I'm guessing they're assuming this is going to be Kershaw's final season. We just saw, obviously, he hit 3,000 strikeouts the other day. Shout out to Clayton Kershaw.
Yes, sir.
So they brought him in as a legend pick. It's kind of like the All-Star game a couple years ago in the NBA when they brought in like D-Wade and Dirk for the one last, because they both said it was their last year. Then we got Freddie Peralta, who's having a great bounce-back season. Robbie Ray, who I'm very, very impressed with Robbie Ray. Cy Young, then he fell off. Now he's back. Chris Sale, Paul Skeens, Logan Webb, Zach Wheeler, Yamamoto, Andrew Abbott. Then for the relief pitchers, we got Jason Adam, Edwin Diaz, Randy Rodriguez, and Robert Suarez. I think that's like what you got to do for the National League. National League, when it comes to pitchers, if you ask me, it's like the great guys are all here, and it's like a lot of them, and then there's just everybody else. I mean, like, what do you think about these National League pitchers?
No, I agree. I think all of them have had they've had all-star deserving years, honestly, so I'm not really mad at any of these options. But I do agree, it kind of does feel like there's just a huge, there's a huge power scale of pitchers when it comes to the National League, when it comes to the elite arms. You got, like, your Paul Skeens and stuff, but definitely I'm fine with these all-stars, yeah.
It also just shows how good the Padres bullpen is.
Yeah, the Padres bullpen's insane.
Oh, for sure.
They got a good
That leads
bullpen.
me into my last question before we go to the next sum it up topic. Who do you think's going to start for the National League? Because, like, you have so many juggernauts here. You got Yamamoto,
tough.
you got Zach Wheeler, you got Paul Skeens, you got Robbie Ray.
Logan Webb.
They could throw out Clayton Kershaw to start out there. You
That'd
never
be
know.
sick. That'd be so sick.
Logan Webb as well. So who do you think is going to start?
Honestly, I like that Kershaw idea. That's not too bad.
Yeah, that'd be so
if they were
sick.
to do it for, like, the Legends thing. But I kind of feel like it'll end up being Skeens again.
Yeah,
I feel like they're gonna use Paul Skeens as much as they can because he's kind of becoming one of the faces of baseball right now. So
Yeah,
I think they'll probably end up doing Skeens and Skubal. I think they did that last year too. But either way, I think that's probably gonna end up happening unless they do the Kershaw thing where he starts the All-Star game.
Yeah, I got
for
to
the
agree.
legend pick.
I got to agree with you there. Like, it's got to be Paul Skeens. This dude, he'll give up one run. He'll still end up getting the loss just because the Pirates refuse to, like, build a competitive team, which just sucks.
They're selling his record.
I think the
right
fact
now.
that he hasn't signed an extension yet all just points to that he's not going to be a Pirate for much longer, if you ask me.
No, I don't think so either.
But, yeah, I think Paul Skeens has to be the guy. He's just so young, so dominant. I don't think there's anyone.
And like
Everyone-
Ian
like
said, he's the
Zach-
face of the league.
Zach Wheeler could totally
Already.
be that guy because Zach Wheeler has just been so good for so long, but I think it's got to be Paul Skeens.
Yeah, I agree with Ian. It's a mix of Paul Skeens is one of the best talents in the league, and he's like the face of baseball. Like every little kid's got a Paul Skeens shirt. He's like the Justin Jefferson of the MLB right now.
That's a good comparison.
And
actually.
I
didn't
mean,
think of that.
speaking of the NFL, this one not too big a deal, but I thought it was worth mentioning. This morning, I don't know if you guys saw, the Commanders got new throwback uniforms this morning. The Super Bowl uniforms. Did you see that, Ian?
I did not. Let me see if I can find them.
They got new ones
yeah.
this morning. It's like the
I
new.
see. Those are tough.
Yeah, I think they're pretty
Those are
nice.
fire, yeah. I like them. I'm a fan.
I hope that they like permanently make those like the home, then they get in away. Like
Yeah.
Those are the away, then they get the red version of that.
Yeah.
Because what they got going on right now is not a good look, I don't think. I hate what they got rocking right now.
Yeah.
And they're about to enter what could be a dynasty, so might want to get some good uniforms for that.
Maybe they have their guy behind center, so anything could happen there for Washington. So that's it for like the All-Star stuff. I wish we had all the home run derby participants. I'm assuming we're gonna get all of them soon. Right now we have a couple. I know Cal Raleigh is gonna be in there, obviously.
Yep, Raleigh, Judge are guarantees.
Yeah. Raleigh's my pick.
They just announced Junior Caminero is going to be there.
Yes, I did. I did see that
sick.
earlier today.
That's
sick.
Awesome.
But right now, I still think regardless of who else they pick, I think Raleigh's gonna be my guy to win it. Because I'm a big Cal Raleigh fan. I don't know about you
Big
guys.
Dumper hit his 36th last night. That's insane. 36 home runs by All-Star break.
I mean,
it normally always ends up being like the random guy that you never
expect.
Yeah,
it really is.
Low-key Caminero has a chance if he's actually going to be good.
Last year was like...
I would love to see Kyle Raleigh win. I feel like that would be pretty
Raleigh
cool.
would be fine. I hope they put like James Wood in. Like, Wood has enough home runs.
He's got it.
He's got to be. It'd be so sick to see a guy like James Wood win it.
He's on the trajectory to be like that next guy that just can hit 50 home runs.
Yeah. He's like the new Juan Soto of Washington.
I guess, yeah. So now, Andrew, what's next on our Sum It Up?
So next up, we're moving over to some video game stuff. First off, do either of you guys have the college football game yet?
I do not, no.
No.
I don't either. I'm getting it tomorrow. I have to get the disc due to just some implications. But I'm getting it tomorrow. Cannot be more excited. Now, the main topic I want to talk about. The 2K cover is just released. The main cover athlete is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
I thought there was like 3 cover athletes.
Well, there's 3, but like the main cover athlete is Shai.
It's Shai, Luke Cornett, and Al Horford. Ian, I saw your post about that. I saw you found the pictures actually.
Well, Al Horford's on it twice.
Yeah, that is
and
true.
Luke Cornett made it on. I think it's awful. The cover is just terrible. No creativity.
Yeah.
When you play for a team like the Thunder, you can make such a sick cover. Like the Devin Booker Suns cover was so fire. They could have done something like that with the Thunder, but
yeah, I'm curious.
it's awful.
Did you think it was pretty obvious it was going to be Shai? Because like they're kind of on a trend right now of like if you win the championship and you're the best player, boom,
you get the cover. Yep.
Yeah, I mean it was pretty obvious that it was going to end up being Shai. They kind of did the same thing with Tatum last year.
Exactly.
The cover itself is pretty ugly. I mean, I think they released the WNBA version with Angel Reese on it today. And it looks pretty similar.
Yeah, it looks
to
the exact
the
same.
Shai one with like the random defenders on the other team being just around them for some reason.
Yeah.
And Carmelo Anthony was the Legends one, and it's just kind of him with the 3 to his head. So I guess that's kind of okay. But yeah, I guess it just kind of shows the lack of creativity that 2K has had, and I guess the lack of caring that they've had towards the game. They're just going to make AI-generated crap that a 16-year-old on Twitter can make a better cover for them if they really wanted to.
I saw something
I
like
don't know.
that.
I mean, it just kind of shows their lack of caring for the game right now. Yeah. And, I mean, it's kind of like a situation with Madden and EA where they kind of have a monopoly of sorts over NFL football games. That's kind of the similar sentiment with 2K in the NBA. So until, I don't know, I get maybe if EA brings back NBA Live or something, until there's an actual competition for it, the games and the covers are probably going to continue to look just as lazy and boring and sloppy as they kind of do right now.
So NBA Live's not coming back, but in a couple years,
basketball.
college basketball is coming back.
And that is a competition that might happen. I heard 2K might strike back at EA and make their own college basketball game.
So thinking with EA, like obviously college football is one of the craziest game experiences I've ever had personally. Like playing in like the Penn State whiteout game as an actual player was dope. But it's looking like Madden is just headed straight to like the destruct button. It's not looking good for Madden, unfortunately. And like
no, it's not.
like the cover is dope. Don't get me wrong. Of Saquon like back hurling guy, I think it was pretty obvious that's what they were gonna do.
Well,
like,
I mean that was a superhuman play. You got to do that.
But like the game as itself, like dude, Ian, did you ever used to watch MMG? Like,
I used to a little bit, yeah.
Like MMG made a video the other day saying he's straight up not gonna play Madden 26 just because of how bad Madden 25 was. And you know, like it just sucks to see Madden go down this rabbit hole, but they really don't change the game at all. It's the same thing every year, and the content just gets worse and worse.
It's awful. Like Wyatt's World has stopped playing it. MMG's not playing it anymore. Madden and 2K both are just falling down a cliff, and it's just awful to see.
Yeah, we're in a new era of gaming.
I don't think I bought Madden since Lamar Jackson was on the cover.
Yeah.
So
And that was
it's
probably
been a while.
that was
I
probably
kinda
one of
give
the
up on
worst
it.
Maddens.
And
of
that
all
was
time.
probably like the worst Madden. Yeah, one of them.
I want to go back to the 2K, the days of when Giannis was on the cover of 2K. I think it was 2K19.
19.
Remember that when they had like all the writing behind him? It was like a white background, black letters. It said like Greek Freak. Had his like.
That cover was so dope.
That
right,
was really
right
dope.
now, the only good sports game is the show. That's
Yeah,
it.
the show is.
And then obviously college football, but
The show's so great because it's not like a pay-to-win type of game. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly,
they build
yeah.
it for the no money spent guy that plays, the guy that just wants to grind the game and doesn't want to just spend his like paycheck on packs.
yeah.
So now,
For
what
sure.
do we got next here on?
Well, that's gonna do it for Summing Up. That's all the
Okay.
topics we got. Once the All-Star break occurs, Home Run
Yep.
Derby happens, the All-Star game happens. We'll have more to talk about.
Yeah.
Hopefully, more stuff happens. NBA free agency. Oh, actually, real quick, Chet Holmgren signed an extension.
So, yeah.
We all saw that, and Paolo Banchero.
Yeah.
Both of them signed.
So Ian,
max
first, I want to know
extensions.
what you think of the Paulo extension first.
I like Paolo as a player, so like I think it was pretty obvious they were going to end up giving him the extension. It's going to kind of be one of those things. Orlando is going to go through kind of a similar thing where the Celtics went through with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, where they have Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero, who are both now making the rookie extensions, and they're pretty big extensions, as well as Desmond Bain. So they're kind of locked into a core, and it kind of needs to work for them,
Yep.
at least for
Yeah,
a little
exactly.
bit, because the second apron might come if they really want to, try to compete in a bigger Eastern Conference. But I like Paolo. I think the contract's going to look fine. I think he's going to end up being a really good player, so I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah. Then with the other one that happened today, I think the Oklahoma City Thunder made their decision. Unfortunately, they obviously gave Chet.
Yeah.
They gave Chet
Yeah.
$50 million a year, so I think Jalen Williams is as good as gone. in a
Yeah, it's
couple
gonna
of
do
years.
it for J-Dub.
Like that
I
sucks.
mean, you never know. I mean, the Thunder might just, they might just accept the second apron tax for as long as they are.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to what the Celtics did, where they saw, I mean, granted, it's a little bit different because they were both going into like their second big contract, but they kind of gave the money to Derek White and Porzingis and Holiday and Tatum and Brown and everybody. So just to continue to try to compete for a championship. So the Thunder might just bite the bullet and continue to, just continue to pay to try to, field a competitive team for as long as possible. But depending on how long depending on how the second apron is going to end up happening in the future, the Thunder could be screwed possibly if they,
Yeah.
at least for needing to move on from Chet or J-Dub, depending on what they want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's risky. It's risky.
The second I saw that, I was like, get ready to learn the second apron, OKC, because I don't.
Yes.
It's not just like a fat tax payment. It's also, don't you lose a couple draft picks if you're in that second apron too? Because I know one thing about
Yeah, you're automatically the 30th overall pick every year.
Yeah.
For however many years you're over it.
Yeah.
That's
You
crazy.
can't give out like the minimum contract. You can't like aggregate trades, so you can only make like 1-for-1 trades. It's like there's like a whole bunch of stuff that you can't do because of the second apron, and it's really debilitating, as you saw that the Celtics are having to go through right now. So
Yeah.
And CJ McCollum got what he deserved for agreeing to that the other day when he got banished to Washington. So I was glad to see that. I don't know about you guys.
Absolutely.
But there's one more thing I want to talk about. So Ian, I actually saw this from your account. The Drew Holiday trade got a little manufactured, and we lost was it 1 second round pick or the 2 second round
We
picks?
lost both.
It was 2 picks that we got too, right? With Simons.
yeah,
We lost both.
Yeah,
we lost
so
both of those now.
from- I think it was the organic. I think is where I saw it, but they were the ones that kind of reported it, saying that because of Drew Holiday's medicals, there wasn't necessarily anything, I guess, particularly damning that the Celtics would have to cancel the trade. But I guess there was definitely something there. So the Trailblazers decided to take away the 2 second round picks that they were going to send alongside Anthony Simons. So the deal ended up just being a 1-for-1 swap of Simons and Holiday. And the Celtics are actively shopping Simons, so I guess we'll see if he even plays with the Celtics this year.
I think all that Simons shopping means is that Dame Lillard. I don't want to get my hopes up, but I think that
I would
really
love it.
I think it really does mean
would
that
love it.
Dame coming here is a done deal.
I mean, I would love Dame here. I
That'd
would
be
absolutely
so
love
fire.
Dame here. I don't really care what anybody says.
Yeah.
I know he's going to be in his older 30s. I know he's not the greatest defender, and I know that he's coming off of an Achilles tear. But, I mean, you can't teach a guy who can hit 35-foot bombs with consistency every single year. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
even if he comes to this team and becomes like the sixth man, maybe Peyton Pritchard starts over him or something like that. Like even with that, I'm fine. I'm fine with it as long as he's able to accept it. Then I think he should be a Celtic.
I agree 100%. Dame as a Celtic would be so sick.
The thing I was most glad about from like pre-draft and pre-free agency was it's right there on your shirt actually that Derek White survived the like trade fiasco.
Yep.
I didn't think they were gonna do it anyway, but
Yeah,
I was just getting worried.
That would have been so bad.
They were getting offers like out of everywhere for Derek White
yeah.
and Jaylen Brown. I'm so glad they didn't do it. Brad Stevens knows better than not to cave. But yeah, I don't think we have anything else on Sum It Up, right?
No, I don't think so. I think that's going to do it for Sum It Up. So now let's head into Stock Up, Stock Down.
And we'll just transition right into it. So
Yeah.
me and Andrew both brought up, so stock up, stock down. The way this works is it's like anything related in the world of sports that we have stock up in, like you should buy this player, hypothetically, or sell if like stock's down. So my stock up, we were just talking about him, is Paulo Banchero. Like, he just got the bag, obviously. I think now, Magic, this is their window. Like, this coming season, like with Indiana and Boston out of the loop, unfortunately, this is the time you need to go compete for that championship.
Yeah.
Go grab, Wendell's great, but I think Wendell needs to be an off-the-bench guy. Go find yourself a starting center. You got Suggs coming back. You add KCP. You add Cole Anthony. If you get that big man, I think the Orlando Magic can be serious contenders. And now that they have their superstar, their guy, satisfied, it's that time to go out there and put it all on red and go win the chip.
I agree.
So yeah.
I like that.
So Andrew, what's yours?
You got it.
No, you
No,
got
you're
that. You
good,
got
you're
that.
good.
You're the guest. You got that. Go.
No, I was thinking, I guess if I had to do a stock up, I would probably say the Atlanta Hawks as a whole.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a great
I
one.
liked-
That's a
I
great
liked
one.
all of their moves they made in free agency. Trading for Porzingis is going to be huge. I mean, granted, we saw how he played with the Celtics, but when he's healthy, the Celtics were really good in 2024. So
Yep.
I think if you can get, even like 65 games out of him this season and maybe a healthy playoff run, I think the Hawks have a chance to make, at minimum, the Eastern Conference Finals this year. Just because of how talented they are. And they picked up guys like Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who I think is going to be super good on the Hawks this year. And honestly, I'm pretty high on the Hawks. I think they're going to be a legit Eastern Conference contender this year.
I agree 100%. The defensive duo of Alexander Walker and Dyson Daniels is going to be a problem. And then obviously Trae Young's Trae Young, Ricochet is still balling. Porzingis, if he's healthy. The Hawks got a young core, and they just surrounded themselves with more talent. I agree. The Hawks could be dangerous.
So Ian, one thing you didn't know coming into today, Andrew is a big Trae Young stand.
Yeah,
And
big Trae Young
and he's
fan
just
right here.
and he loves supporting the Hawks. So I think Andrew, your Atlanta Hawks are finally.
Well, they're not my Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah.
I'm a Celtics fan. I love Trae Young.
Yeah.
I love Trae Young.
I think that the Hawks actually are not going to make the play-in tournament this year. I think they're going to actually make it to the playoffs.
The 4-year play-in tournament
Yeah,
draft for the
and
Hawks might be over.
They're not going to go 5 years in a row in the play-in tournament. So Ian, I love that stock up of the
I do
Atlanta
too.
Hawks.
And I can't lie. I'm not going to lie to you. I was not a huge Trae Young fan when he first came to the league. I don't know
A lot of
why
people
his
were.
game was just not very appealing to me, but I don't know. Maybe it's just over time that I've watched enough basketball to kind of, I can appreciate what Trae Young can do for a team now. Maybe it's just because I've seen guys like Jalen Brunson find success with the Knicks, but just kind of accepting the fact that, yes, Trae Young is a legitimate, he's a legitimate guy in this league, and he should be respected more than he is.
When I saw Trae Young beat up on the Knicks in Madison Square Garden, that's when I was like, you and I aren't so different, are we?
Yeah, that was awesome. That was so great to watch. The Knicks are awful.
He doesn't like the Knicks. I don't like the Knicks.
Then I guess we can be friends.
Me and Trae Young might get along. Who knows?
Might be friends.
So now, Andrew, let's send it over to you. What's going to be your stock up?
Pretty good. My stock up's an obvious one. Trevor Story of the Sox, obviously.
Yeah.
It's not just the fact that these last 2 weeks he's been absolutely absurd. The last 5 games, he has had 3 home runs with 11 RBIs. He has 1 game without a hit in the month of July, and he's on pace to have a better season than every season he had with the Rockies besides 2018, where he was one of the best players in the league. So he's on pace to have his second best season of his career with the Red Sox if he continues this hot streak.
I mean, I'm so glad Trevor Story is just destroying.
This is the guy we signed.
Yeah.
This is the Trevor Story that we signed a couple years ago.
I'm so glad he's finally putting the rumors to rest, because at school, with my friends there, we had this big group chat of a bunch of the guys into sports, and we saw the Crochet trade happen. and we were hoping Meyer didn't go. But we were like, if he did, it's not bad. Because we're like, oh, Trevor Story's going to get injured, and that's how Meyer's going to come up.
Yep.
Every single person talks about Trevor Story's made of glass. This dude, can't stay on the field.
He's also played more games this year than the last 2 seasons combined. He already has 20 more games than the last 2 seasons combined. So I'm loving Story this year.
I'm glad he put those rumors to rest. This guy's not made of glass. He's made of adamantium. He's basically Wolverine in the MLB. So
Pretty much.
Ian, how are you feeling about Story?
I agree. I remember in the beginning of the year, I was very low on Story.
I was too.
Honestly thought they were going to end up DFAing him at some point because he couldn't hit the ball no matter what was happening. And I don't really know what flipped. I think it might have been when they were down in Atlanta. But ever since the start of June, he's been maybe the Red Sox best hitter. And he's always been a team leader. Like last year before he got injured, he was leading the Red Sox defense, and, he was improving on that front. Granted, he was still trying to find his footing early in the season last year, hitting-wise, but at the same time, Trevor Story is a leader on this team, and the fact that he is going, I think, kind of gives the rest of the team a little bit of a push as well, just because, hey, they see the leader of the team is going, he's there, he's always going to be there, he's always going to perform. And the fact that everyone else can just fall behind him, at least as of right now, I don't know how long the hot streak's going to go. But yeah, I definitely agree. I like the Trevor Story stock up for sure.
I agree with that 100%. It's him being kind of like the leader of the team. He's a vet, one of the older guys. Right now he's got a 250 average with 15 bombs, 57 RBIs. That leads the current Red Sox in all the stats. And I think it's great that Story is leading the team. And I think it's also great that we got Devers out of the dugout because he's been a dugout cancer over in San Francisco recently too.
I just saw something about that.
That's like a double positive for the Sox, and I think that trade could not have worked out better for what we originally thought was an awful deal.
I just want to say something about Devers real quick. Ian, I want to know if you agree with this. I was saying after the Devers trade, and when I was pissed at first, as we all were, but then I started seeing the players' reactions, like Jaren Duran, the rookies, all saying you know what, it's whatever, we're gonna keep playing. So that told me nobody liked him. First of all.
No.
But then it made me think, I think Rafael Devers is just going to become, the MLB version of Jimmy Butler. And what I mean by that is, if he gets pissed off by, the smallest thing, he's going to try and force his way out. We saw him do that when they signed Alex Bregman. He's like, I play third base. I'm not going to just play DH, blah, 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 blah. Boom, see you, bye. They trade him. And now in San Francisco, he says he'll play wherever he wants because he's happy there. I don't know what pissed him off, but then they got the first base coach saying Devers was, showing up late to, field workouts. He wasn't even taking reps at first base.
Yeah.
So I think
he's no-showed multiple times to the first base coach.
Mm-hmm. So I think we're going to start to see Devers become that Jimmy Butler type of attitude guy where, if this little thing pisses him off, you won't see him for, a week.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that is definitely interesting. I don't know, it is kind of weird because, for years and years and years, Rafael Devers was just, he was, the little kid on the team. He was always happy just to be there.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think there was obviously, nobody communicated well with him, and he didn't communicate well with the front office. And obviously, there's blame on all front. But at this point, I'm over it. I was definitely mad when the trade happened originally, but as time has gone on and seeing guys, like Roman Anthony get more at-bats and starting to come around, Rafaela is starting to come around, even guys like Roman Gonzalez and Willie Abreu and Rob Refsnyder, all of these guys are getting more at-bats and they're all finding success. And as long as the Red Sox keep winning, I'm okay. I'm okay with it. Mm-hmm. I don't think even if Devers didn't get traded, I don't know if those guys still would have had these performances. But now that he is gone and the Red Sox are starting to find a little bit of success now, maybe you can kind of point back and, like you said, maybe Rafael Devers was the problem at the time.
I feel like I know what you want to say right there. That this is similar to the Nomar trade, because
I wouldn't say it's that. I guess. I don't really know what I'm trying to say. I think everyone was being a baby on all fronts in this entire situation.
100%.
That's a good way to describe
100%.
So, I think that's what it is. Rafael Devers is going to do what he's going to do in San Francisco. Red Sox don't have to deal with him anymore.
It's a win-win.
I'm over it. I'm over it.
And I think Devers is a good transition to the stock down portion because
Yeah.
I think Devers would be a good stock down. So Tyler, what is your stock down?
So my stock down is the Oklahoma City Thunder's payroll, because I think they're about to get a case of what the Celtics just had. Second apron's going to show up to your doorstep, be like, hey, $200 million, please, thank you, see you, bye. So I think they're going to lose J-Dub, unfortunately, because I think J-Dub, we saw this dude drop 40 in an NBA Finals game. I think he's going to want that superstar money, which he deserves. You know, he was the other All-Star this year. It wasn't Chet. Granted, Chet was hurt for most of the year, so you can't really blame him for that. We can see J-Dub be a number one guy. Obviously, he had a couple, stinker performances in the playoffs, but he bounced back right after. This dude wasn't going, consistently bad. So I think they maybe should have picked him as the guy, even though Chet is so, valuable, defensively as well.
Yeah.
That's why you go and get Hartenstein. I'm not saying they're the same player because they're not. Chet can stretch the floor, Hartenstein can't. Pretty simple. But, yeah, I think the Thunder's payroll is going to come around to suck because you got guys that just made a name for themselves like Aaron Wiggins, Cason Wallace, Lou Dort. Even though I think Lou Dort fouls a lot, I think now he's going to be that next sought-after defensive guy. Like we saw people like KCP, Drew Holiday, Alex Caruso, all be these types of guys that people want on their team because they're defensive-minded guards that you need to have. Like Drew Holiday's won a chip with multiple teams. KCP's won a chip with multiple teams. Caruso's won a chip with multiple teams now. Only 3 guys in the 2020s to have done that, to have multiple rings. So I'm curious what you guys think about the Thunder payroll being my stock down. It might be a basic pick. It might be a reach. I'm not 100% sure, but that's where my brain went.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting because I think we talked about it a little bit earlier, how, the second apron is going to come for everybody. And, it's hard having all of these huge contracts and having all of these good players to have to pay. They're going to have to make some tough decisions. And, I give Sam Presti the benefit of the doubt. He's only been a great GM ever since he's been with OKC. But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting how they maneuver this. I personally think they're just going to pay J-Dub anyway, and they're just going to accept the second apron tax stuff regardless of what happens. But, even if they do decide to move on from him, they still have 1 million first-round picks for the next decade or so.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they're going to find another player like J-Dub, but if they do move on from him, they have a chance to get another guy
100%.
that can come in
Easily.
maybe on a rookie deal. I don't know. Maybe they trade for Cooper Flag in 4 years.
We
Maybe.
know how
I think
Mavs GM likes to roll.
I think Cooper
Nico
Flag might be a
Harrison.
Celtic, but that's just me being delusional and biased. So yeah, if you have a stock down, ready to go off the dome, please share. I'm curious to see who you're selling right now.
Stock down. That's a good one. Honestly, at least from what I've been watching over the last couple weeks or so, I definitely say the New York Yankees would be my stock down.
Great stock down.
Yeah,
Great
They just
stock down.
lost.
Clap for that,
They
yeah.
just lost the division to the Blue Jays. They got swept in 4 games up there. Pretty much ever since they played the Red Sox, I think it was Father's Day weekend, they've just fallen off a cliff completely. And I think it's one of those things where it's a matter of time, right? Aaron Judge can only single-handedly carry the baseball team for so long on offense before someone else is going to have to step up.
Exactly.
Sure, Judge is an all-star, I guess, quote-unquote all-star, but he's not
All-star.
a third baseman. He can't field.
Yeah.
He's not good.
He's been hitting a lot better since he came back from the IL, but he's still not this elite number 2 guy that is going to carry the Yankees. He's not Juan Soto, and the only difference between the
So, little Zoom didn't
We're
want
back.
us to
We're
operate
back.
there, but yeah, now we're back. Ian, get right back to talking about the Yankees and how they suck. Go.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, the only difference between last year's Yankees team and this year's Yankees team is the fact that Juan Soto isn't there. And Juan Soto masked a lot of issues that they had, and that's the only real reason as to why they made the World Series. Having Juan Soto and Aaron Judge together is pretty much the reason why they made it, because the entire American League was not really that good. And, it was kind of one of those things where the talent kind of overshadowed all of the fundamental flaws that they have as a baseball team. And I'm not going to say they're not going to make the playoffs, because I still think they're talented enough to make it there. I just don't know if I believe in them coming back and winning the division at this point just by the way that they're playing. They're a fundamentally flawed team, and as a Red Sox fan, I couldn't be any happier.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, Red Sox.
100%.
Red Sox being up, the Yankees being down doesn't get much better than that.
It's been great. And the Yankees' first glimpse of hope in a while was last night when they absolutely destroyed the Mariners.
Yeah.
And I would be honest, I don't think the Blue Jays are entirely safe from the Jays, Rays, or even the Red Sox. Because, yes, they went on a 10-game winning streak, but that consisted of beating the White Sox, I'm pretty sure the Rockies, and then another, bottom feeder of the MLB. So, who knows? Maybe the Jays start to play some good teams. Maybe the AL East is going to be fun to watch, but the Yankees sucking has been really fun to watch.
I do want to say I really wish the AL East was a 5-team juggernaut right now. The Orioles, they've been a stock down 3 different times.
Well, the Orioles were supposed to be one of the better teams in the division.
But yeah, Gunnar starting off with the injury, he's been slow.
Gunnar and Rutschman both.
Adley hasn't been, but Gunnar kind of has a reason. He started off with an injury, missed a couple games. Then Adley just hasn't been himself lately, which that sucks. But
yeah, the Orioles are just kind of throwing away this season.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So, Andrew, what's your stock down here?
My stock down, we've already talked about it a good amount. My stock down is just 2K, the company 2K, NBA 2K.
2K Sports.
The covers are awful, and they did Shea so unbelievably dirty. They could have given him a sick Thunder cover. They did Melo dirty. Melo could have had a sick cover.
Especially with Melo, he's going into the Hall of Fame this year.
He is.
And you disrespect him
he's
that
going
much.
into the Hall
That
of Fame.
pisses me off.
And I'm going to Syracuse. I'm a big Melo guy, so I'm disappointed with what they did with Melo. And then I think just Angel Reese's cover is boring, and having Angel Reese on the cover in general is just not awesome. But whatever.
There's 2 sides to the internet with WNBA.
And I think the game is just going to be lousy. Yeah. I don't think 2K's been a good game. Just like Madden, 2K hasn't been fun either.
I think this is going to be 4 years in a row now where I don't buy 2K.
Yeah, 2K.
I didn't buy 2K25. I didn't get 2K24. I didn't get 2K23. I think we're going to make it 4 in a row.
Yeah, so 2K is one of the ultimate stock downs. At one point, just 2K, does the NBA game have a new company make it? I don't know. Eventually.
Ian, I'm curious. What was the last 2K you enjoyed?
Enjoyed? Ooh. I mean, I think last year's is probably the last one I'm going to buy, but the last one I enjoyed, maybe 2K21.
Yeah. That was mine.
Yeah,
2K21 was my last one, too.
Was that the Luka cover?
21 was...
Or was it Zion?
This is Dame. 21... Oh, Dame was Zion,
it was Dame
too.
And
Dame and
Zion. Because Dame was current gen, Zion was
because that was the first new gen game. New gen ruined 2K.
Yeah.
That's what...
Maybe. Yeah.
That was 2K20.
I think it was 21 was the last one, probably because it was COVID.
Yeah.
Or something like that, but I think it was the one with Zion on the cover. But either way, I think that was the last one I actually enjoyed. And like I said, 2K as a whole, it's kind of obvious that they just don't care anymore.
No.
Yeah.
They're gonna put out a game every year just because it's their license. But the AI the AI cover art is
it's so awful.
It's terrible.
It's kind of a testament for the entire company as a whole, and maybe it's just the testament of sports games as a whole at the moment, where everyone's kind of resting on their laurels, and until something legitimate actually shakes it up, then I guess we're just gonna have to see, and I guess hope and pray that someone can.
Yeah.
And you spoke about this earlier. You said how you've seen literal just kids make better covers. I saw some of them this morning. I saw some mock Shea covers this morning. That were some sick Thunder covers with lightning storms with Shea screaming. It was so dope.
You could have had confetti.
They showed the actual.
You could have had him holding all
literally
the trophies.
anything.
Which Shea got 4 different types of trophies this year. You could have had him holding all of them.
And it's the same thing with Tatum. They could have done
same thing with Tatum.
They could have done anything with Tatum's, and all they did was just have him stand in the middle of a blank court. So, I mean,
it's
one
so
of those
awful.
things where it's obvious 2K doesn't care.
No.
And, it's not really worth getting mad about because if they don't care, why should we? But, I don't know. It's definitely just disappointing at this point because it is a game that mostly everyone grew up playing and everyone grew up enjoying. So it is just kind of sad that they're at the point of, just not caring about the game anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
Even though that was kind of a not great way to end, a game we all loved. Enter in the gulag. I want to transition into start bench cut. This segment is called Final Roster, but it's a start bench cut segment. So my theme for mine is sports GMs. So I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this. Start bench cut: Billy Beane, Brad Stevens, and Theo Epstein.
Ooh.
Yeah, I come with the heat on all of these, Ian. I had one that was start bench cut Shohei's, Dodgers Shohei, Angels Shohei, and WBC Shohei. That one threw us for a loop. But yeah, 3 GMs here. Billy Beane, Brad Stevens, and Theo Epstein, start bench cut.
Okay, I'm gonna begin this by saying I think I'm gonna have to start. I'm gonna have to start Theo Epstein, bench Brad Stevens, and cut Billy Bean because I think Billy Bean is quite overrated as a GM. Okay, think about this. Okay, everyone knows Moneyball, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers they had three of the best pitchers and the MVP
Yeah.
on that same exact team.
Yeah. That was a definitely.
There's obvious reason why they were so good.
Yeah.
They had talented players.
They had talent
Just because
regardless.
just because they lost Giambi and Damon and I think it was Mark Mulder or whatever. I can't remember who the other guy was. But just because they lost those guys and they brought in, analytics-based guys, yes, they found success. They also had talent.
Yeah.
Chavez was on that team. Miguel Tejada was the MVP. Justin Duche, Tim Hudson. Can't remember the other guy's name off the top of my head.
Yeah.
They had 3 all-star pitchers on their team, and they had the MVP.
Yeah.
I think that entire situation is incredibly overrated.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a great movie with Brad Pitt, but I don't know. I think it's an incredibly overrated thing.
Yeah.
Other teams were using analytics at the time as well. The Red Sox were using it. That's the whole reason why they brought Billy Bean in the first place was because they hired the father of sabermetrics and Bill James. So that's the whole reason why Billy Bean was even given a request from the Red Sox at the end of that movie was because they were already using analytics. Some teams already were. Okay, I'm just saying. I think Billy Bean's entire thing is overrated.
Yeah. Yeah. You have a good one there. So Andrew, I want to hear yours, and I'll throw mine in at the end because it was cool me.
My order or my
your order.
So I agree with Ian. I'm gonna start Theo Epstein, bench Brad Stevens, cut Billy Bean. I like Billy Bean. It's a cool story, but it's not. He wasn't the founder of the analytics use. I agree with Ian entirely. Like he didn't create that method of building a baseball team. So for that, I'm gonna have to cut Billy Bean. And Brad Stevens over Billy Bean is a no-brainer. Brad Stevens has been a genius. And then Theo Epstein is.
I think I have to agree with you guys just because even though if I was thinking about it from just one team, I think I'd have Brad starting just because Brad Stevens plays chess while these guys don't even know how to play checkers, like with the moves he makes. But Theo Epstein, not only did he reverse the curse for the Red Sox, he also broke the Cubs drought. So this dude was able to dance with the devil and get rid of 2 curses. You got to give
you have to be number one.
You have to be the greatest GM of all time.
The curse of the Babe and the Cubs curse, which was probably 20 years longer than that. It was in the hundreds, right?
Yeah, it was 106.
108?
It was 106 or something.
108.
108.
Yeah.
108.
So I I think it's got to be Theo
Absurd.
Epstein. Theo Epstein has to be number 1. So
for sure.
We'll go to Ian next. So what's your start bench cut?
All right, I guess my start bench cut is kind of on brand, I suppose, but I guess this is Boston Celtics championship teams, so you have to start bench cut the 86 Celtics, 2008 Celtics, or 2024 Celtics.
This one's pretty obvious to me. I don't know.
Obvious?
You. Yeah.
In terms of skill, how much fun they probably
Let's
were.
say what the best team, ranking the best teams, I guess.
Like off of dominance?
Yeah,
Start 86, bench 24, cut 08. That's just me.
Really?
Yes. Because, dude,
Really?
08 went to 3.
08's beating 24, bro.
I don't think so. 08 went to 3 game 7s. 24
but
lost 3 games in the playoffs. That's just my opinion. I think that one was pretty light
I'm just
for me.
saying, the NBA was a lot different in 08 than it was now.
You sound like one of the 08 players talking
I know,
about the
but
team right now.
they're kind of right, but they're kind of right. Like, I'm one of those dudes who thinks MJ's the GOAT, and I agree with kind of I know I disagree with some things that old heads say, but there's some things I agree on where they were definitely tougher, and I think players now are, kind of weak. Like, you remember the type of hustle guy KG was, bro? KG is dominating any 24 Celtic when KG's playing defense. He's locking up anyone
KG would
on the 24.
He would eat Porzingis for
breakfast, that's what I'm saying, bro. But Tatum is gonna.
I think if we're just ranking how they were in their time, it's 86, 24, 08. But I think if it's
that's fair.
If it's how they would do against each other, I still think 86 would win it all.
I'm starting 86.
But then I think if it was how they do against each other, I think 08 could beat 24.
I think so. The 08-24 is tough. What do you think, Ian? What's your thoughts on this?
I'm curious on yours.
Because you watched the 08 Celtics, right? We were a little young.
I was 2.5 years old when that happened, so I don't really have a say here.
I was 1.5, I think.
See, I wasn't much older. I was 7, so.
So not much older. But
you could tell the homeboys at elementary school about it.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, though, I think I'm starting the 2024 Celtics. I don't really care.
Yeah.
I think the 2024 Celtics are one of the most dominant teams in NBA history.
Yep.
Yes, the defense of the 2008 Celtics was great. However, there were times where their offense could fall into a lot
That's
of
true too.
issues. A lot of issues. They did not have the same spacing that the 2024 Celtics
Not
had.
even close.
I guess if we're playing in a modern, somewhat, game, if they were comparing the 2008-24 Celtics, the 24 Celtics can just space out everybody.
Yeah.
Rajon Rondo can't shoot. They're just going to leave him wide open the entire time.
Yeah.
Plus, Derek White and Drew Holiday are going to be locked up on Ray Allen and Rondo anyway. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are two-way wings. Yes, Kevin Garnett might, cause issues, I think, on Jason Tatum, but still, I think with the matchup problem that Porzingis had in 2024, or even Al Horford, if you want to put Al Horford out there, I think he's immediately a better option than Kendrick Perkins. So that's why
Perkins
I would have
is
to take the 2024 Celtics over them. And I'm taking the 2024 Celtics over the 86 Celtics, mostly for a similar reason. I guess it's just kind of the era. I think Larry Bird is really great. I think Kevin McHale is great. But again, 24 Celtics were one of the most dominant teams we've ever seen. So I would probably start the 24 Celtics, bench the 86 Celtics, and cut the 08 Celtics.
Yeah, I mean, you can go really any way with this, honestly. If it's in like if it's in just like sheer dominance, I think 24 and 86 can really butt heads, and 08 just goes.
Don't forget, like the 86 Celtics are also technically the 84 and 81 Celtics. They won 3 times.
Yeah, the only difference with that is Bill Walton. And like, you can say
that's true
too. You can say it's not a big difference, but that's a first ballot Hall of Famer right there. So I mean, like, do with that what you want.
It is tough though, because like, this is where I disagree with like old heads talking. Like, how good would a lot of players in the 80s be in today's NBA? Because we all know how athletic the kids now are. It's ridiculous.
I think Magic would be pretty good in today's NBA. I don't know.
But Magic is also literally like the 6th or 5th greatest player of all time.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the thing. So the scale of decades is really tough.
Definitely there, but I would say you give any player in the 80s the same kind of training regimens that you can give the player.
And I agree with that exactly, 100%.
I feel like they'll be able to hold their own. Maybe they won't be as great, but like if you give them the same training type of things, like
exactly, that's
the same type of training regimens as a guy like Jason Tatum. I feel like Larry Bird could be pretty damn good.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
This is a debate that will never be settled. People will be talking about this for forever, and then they're gonna call
20 years from now.
They're gonna call our generation of players soft compared to the kindergartners that are like learning how to walk right now.
I know, literally.
Like that.
So, so I think my order, I'm gonna still start 86. I'm gonna bench 24, cut 08, because Paul Pierce is really the only pure scorer on the 08 team. Ray Allen could shoot, but he couldn't really do much else. So I agree with that.
I saw Ray Allen drop 50 in a playoff game. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, no, I mean, he wasn't really a shot creator. He was a pure shooter.
I guess, yeah. That from that point of view, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the 24 Celtics based off of talent. I think the 24 Celtics are more talented. So I agree with both of you there.
So then, what's your final roster?
My final roster. Let me pull it up real quick. I'm so locked in on Celtics talk right now. I'm forgetting what mine was. Mine's another video game one. We're going to go back to video games. So mine is start, bench, cut, 2K17, Madden 20, so Superstar KO Madden 20, and like the park of 2K17, and Season 3 Fortnite.
Dude, oh my God.
It's the start, bench, cut.
Wow. Oh, damn. I might need a minute for this one.
Yeah,
if you have yours, go ahead. I might need a minute here. Wow.
I can't lie to you. I did not really play Fortnite like that.
All right.
So
that's fair.
I'm probably gonna have to cut that just because. I mean, I guess I would start 2K just because I remember playing 2K a lot more than I played Madden 20. So I would probably say I start 2K, bench Madden, and cut Fortnite only because I never really played Fortnite. It's not that.
Yeah, and that's fair.
I was never really big into first-person shooter games. I don't really know why. I played it a little bit. I was not really good at it, and I didn't really care to have the patience or time to really get good at it. So I kind of stopped playing it after a little bit.
I mean, I'm with you there. I never really played many Call of Duty games. The only really shooter game I really played was Fortnite. And then I played Warzone a little bit, but that was really it. So
I'm gonna have to agree with Ian here on cutting Season 3 Fortnite because I wasn't good at Fortnite either. I only had like one solo dub in my
Really?
in my entire career on Fortnite. It was one of the greatest days of my entire life. Don't get me wrong.
I still thought it was. I was so bad, but it was so much fun.
When I got my only solo dub, I might have shed a tear. I will say that. One thing would have gone down my eye. But for starting and benching, even though I've had more fun on 2K as a whole, Madden 20 was easily the most fun I've ever had on a video game
Oh
in
my
my
God,
entire life.
Madden 20.
Madden
was
20 Madden 20 is
ridiculous.
getting the start, and 2K17 is going to get benched. 2K17, arguably the greatest 2K of all time. It's a top 2 game for sure, maybe with like either 16
Like
or
that's why I
2K20.
might have to start 2K.
But yeah, Madden 20 is the most fun I've ever had playing a sports video game. So Madden 20 is going to start. 2K17 is going to get benched. Fortnite Season 3 is getting cut.
I don't think I can cut Fortnite.
Wow.
But I don't know who I would cut.
He did this one to himself. Just keep that in mind. He came
I
up with it.
I
You
still
did
I don't
this
have
to
an
yourself.
answer. I don't have an answer. My first 2K was 2K16, but I still think 17 was a little bit better because the park was so much fun on 17.
I think the meter on 2K16 was better though.
I agree. And 16, 17 was also when Steph was broken. I remember playing with Steph online, and Steph was just not even human.
Yes, Steph Curry in like
But
Prime 2K was.
Steph
so
used to
stupid.
piss me off during my career whenever we'd play the Warriors, and Steph would just not miss the computer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. Oh my God, this is so tough. I'm gonna start Fortnite. I'm gonna bench. I'm gonna bench 2K and cut Madden, which is unbelievable. But I think I'm gonna have to do it.
Dude, you're no longer allowed to listen to the song "Time Flies." You know that, right?
Oh, but Madden
No.
20's so good.
Nope. You made your decision now. No more time flies
I
for
don't
you.
wanna be on the ground.
Yeah, that
Oh my
one.
God.
Yeah. So.
Like that's nostalgia right there. Just
Yeah,
listening to
exactly.
that song.
So I mean, guys, it was another great round to start bench cut.
That's
this
so
segment,
tough.
Ian.
That's
if you've
so
seen our other
tough.
episodes, this segment never misses.
Yeah, no.
Like-
Final roster is always so much fun.
This one always causes a lot of brain trauma and like serious hardcore thinking. But now I want to move into would you rather. My would you rather is: would you rather have the career of Mike Evans or the career of Calvin Johnson? So Calvin Johnson, you're like probably the best receiver in the entire league, most dominant, but you are on a terrible team, and your career gets cut short due to your team being bad and injuries. Or if you're Mike Evans, in your peak, you're a top 5 player in the league, putting up 1,000
Player?
Top 5 receiver.
Top
excuse
five,
me,
yeah,
excuse
alright,
me.
top 5 players.
Top 5
is
players
stretch.
are always quarterbacks, but you're top 5 receiver in the entire league, consistently putting up 1,000 yards, and you have a ring. You're on a good team. You played with the greatest quarterback.
Well,
of all
don't
time.
forget, he's been on a good team for the last 5 years. For the first 7 years of his career, the Buccaneers sucked. They were terrible.
And he was still putting up numbers.
And he obviously was still putting up numbers. It was like Calvin Johnson, but then Evans eventually got a ring. So that's tough.
And both are first ballot Hall of Famers, by the way. Calvin Johnson's already in, but Mike Evans, when he retires, we don't know when that's going to be. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he
as
is
well.
the second. He's like the second most consistent player ever behind
Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice.
So
I guess if I had to pick, I would always go with winning a championship.
I agree. I agree.
I would choose Mike Evans. I'd always go with the championship. Yes, I think Megatron was great, but obviously those Detroit Lions teams were not very great.
No.
So, I don't know if I could probably stay in a situation that long. So I don't blame him if he retired early. But yeah, I would definitely rather have Mike Evans' career. It's a long, sustaining career. You're a contributor every single year. You have a championship. Played with Tom Brady.
That's what's
I think that's a pretty ideal career.
yeah.
That's what makes me pick Mike Evans. Is the fact that you were catching for Tom Brady for 3 years. If you get to do that and then win a championship with him, that's so sick.
I think I got to go with Mike
I'm
Evans.
gonna go with
too.
Evans, too.
You got to go with winning the ring. You made that pretty clear. Championship is over. It's more than anything money could ever buy. Because it's the fulfillment of finally, lifting up out of the Larry O'Brien, the Lombardi Trophy, the Stanley Cup, any of these trophies. It's worth way more than any contract you'll ever sign with a pro team.
100%.
So I think I got to go with Mike Evans, too. So, Ian, what's your would you rather?
I guess, would you rather... I don't know. I'm not going to lie. I might have to think about it a little more.
That's all right. That's all right.
I think you can go first.
So, Andrew, you got this.
All right. So I'm also gonna take a sec.
Oh, you didn't have yours either?
No, I was too busy on the rivalries.
This guy.
No, but I got one. I'm gonna do a Sox one. So would you rather? This is a dual Boston sports one. Would you rather have prime David Ortiz on the current Sox team, or prime Tom Brady on the current Pats team?
Ooh.
Brady?
I mean, yeah, you got to go the GOAT.
I mean,
You
here's the
got to go
thing,
with the
though.
GOAT.
Here's the thing, though. The Pats really don't got much around them, and the Red Sox have a decent amount around Ortiz.
I know. I'd rather have an elite quarterback. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, dude, you heard Andrew Schultz at the roast of Tom Brady. The Patriots had a law firm of receivers, and Tom Brady made them all elite.
Yeah, they were all, like, terrible during that era.
Also, if you think about it, the Patriots have been awful with terrible quarterback play.
Yeah.
I mean, Mac Jones, Cam Newton, Jacoby Brissett. It's not an enjoyable experience.
No, it's awful.
No.
Even when the Patriots weren't great, Tom Brady was still fun to watch. So I would much rather have Tom Brady, prime Tom Brady on this Patriots team than, I mean, as much as I love David Ortiz, he was just a DH.
Yeah.
Fair.
I love David Ortiz, but I think the quarterback position is a lot more valuable than the DH position in baseball.
I think Tom Brady would have a bigger impact. I think based off of where the teams are, David Ortiz might give the Sox that little boost to like make that postseason run. But I think Tom Brady, as a whole with the team, I think he'd be more impactful. So I think I'd go Tom Brady as well.
Yeah, I'd say so too. What if I were to throw another player in there, like Prime Pedroia or something like that, like on top of Ortiz?
I still
take
Brady.
Brady.
You still take Brady?
If to make me like not take Brady, you'd have to give me like Pedro or like a pitcher.
Or if I were to give you like Manny, Ramirez, and Ortiz together?
No.
Are you still taking Brady?
Really? I think you need to throw in like a dominant pitcher. To like move the needle a little bit for me. Because like our pitchers have been good, other than Walker Buehler, but that's a talk for another day.
I don't even want to get into Walker Buehler.
He yeeshes his teammates' starts, but he hasn't yeeshed his own start yet. That's all I got to say. But yeah, Ian, you have a would you rather? Or you want to jump right into on the clock? Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I guess we can do this one. Would you rather be on a terrible team but making a lot of money, or being a role player, like a bench role player on a championship caliber team? There's no guarantee you win the championship, but say you are a talented player, would you rather be a bench warmer on that, championship caliber team, or would you rather be, a guy on a terrible team that gets a lot of minutes, but you don't actually win games?
Oh, so this is like being like Yuki or being like Zion? I thought this was gonna be like I thought this was like a Hauser type of player where it's like you can come off the bench and you play a little bit. No, you're just like you don't get in. You just stand there and clap your hands.
I mean, you can, maybe in like spot minutes here and there, kind of more like, I guess kind of more like a Sam Hauser type of player.
Okay.
Or would you rather be a guy like, I don't know, Scotty Barnes on the Raptors, who's like making a ton of money, but the Raptors are not really winning any games?
I think I'd have to go be the Sam Hauser guy, just because we just saw Sam Hauser actually get a bag after the Celtics won the chip. So I think if I can help my team win the championship, I think I can get myself the bag I deserve. So I'm gonna bet on me.
Yeah, so I think it depends on what type of bench player I am. If I'm Sam Hauser, I'd rather be Sam Hauser. But if I'm gonna be like Jordan Walsh, then I'd rather be Scotty Barnes.
Yeah.
And I think Jordan Walsh could eventually become something. But right now, Jordan Walsh is just a stand there clap guy.
I'm gonna bet on myself and go try and earn my bag with a good team, and not just like take the guaranteed on a team that sucks, because I want to be remembered. I don't want to just make a ton of money and leave. I'm not Jokic, even though Jokic is great. Because how he said like Jokic when he retires, he just wants to like chill. He doesn't want to like do media anymore.
Yeah, he said like, I hope none of you guys ever talk to me ever again, or something crazy.
I absolutely love that with Nikola. So yeah, that's me. I'd rather be like the Sam Hauser type of guy. How about you, Sam Hauser?
I think I'd rather be Sam Hauser type of guy too, because like you get the type of recognition because everyone's always watching your team. Like you get that recognition eventually.
How about you, Ian? What would you rather be?
Agree. I'd definitely be the Sam Hauser guy. I think it's kind of similar to like what we did with the Mike Evans thing. The chance to win a championship, I think, is much more valuable than kind of not. So I think that's the main goal. That's the main goal of sports every year, right? Is to win the championship at the end of the year. So. Even if you're not the biggest part of that, you're still a contributor, even if you're in a bench role. So I would definitely have to go with that.
So now it is time for our favorite segment, personally.
Oh, yeah. This is the best segment, not even close.
And the viewers we know that they love the segment, too. It's on the clock. It's the draft segment. Everybody loves it. Andrew came up with the draft category today. Andrew, what's the category?
So the category today is the best sports rivalries.
So, yeah, Ian, we gave you the heads up for this too. You have the first pick.
You have the 101.
And since Andrew came up with it, he has the last pick. I have the second pick.
And it's going to go in a snake
We're going to
order.
snake draft. So, Ian, there's a lot of ways you can go with this. What is going to be your first overall pick?
First pick, I'm going to have to go classic. I'm going to go Celtics-Lakers.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's probably the most historic rivalry in sports.
Yep.
It was definitely a toss-up between Sox-Yankees and Celtics-Lakers, but
Yeah.
I think I'm going to pick Celtics-Lakers. I think, just with the history of the matchup and what could possibly happen in the future now with Luka Doncic there, I think that's probably going to be my number one pick for rivalries.
I mean, how can it not be? I mean, generations of rivals, 12 finals matchups. It's got to be Celtics-Lakers. It brought the NBA back to life, the Celtics-Lakers rivalry. So
Yeah. And with the second pick, you already said who I'm taking. I'm going to take Sox-Yankees.
I mean, another
I think
Boston rivalry.
I think it's pretty obvious. Like, that's the greatest rivalry in baseball, and it's gone on for over 100 years now, actually. They can't play in the World Series, but they've played in the ALCS a bunch of times. The Sox reverse swept the Yankees one year. I mean, that was pretty cool, if you guys ask me. But, yeah, I'm going to go Sox-Yankees with second pick.
So for my first pick, the 103, I'm going to go with the international rivalry. We're going to head to soccer. Real Madrid versus Barcelona, El Clasico. It's the that's the most viewed sports game every year when Real Madrid and Barcelona play.
Yep.
Not a much bigger rivalry outside of America. There is not a bigger rivalry besides those two teams. Madrid, Barcelona goes back to the 1800s. Decades. It's kind of like the Celtics-Lakers of soccer. Decades of rivals, decades of finals matchups. Real Madrid, Barcelona doesn't get more intense than that. And so now I'm up again. So now I'm going to enter college football. We're going to go with the game.
Yeah.
Michigan, Ohio State.
That was going to be my pick.
That's my second-round pick. It is the best college football rivalry. People can try to say the Iron Bowl, the Red River, which are both great rivalries. I expect them to be taken. But nothing is better than the game. No one can convince me that Michigan and Ohio State is not the best rivalry in college football and one of the best rivalries of all time.
I mean, I don't know about you, but when your rivalry is so crazy that you don't say the other team's name, and all it's called is the game, and like you'll just say we're playing those guys. And
The team up north is what Ohio calls Michigan. They do not call them Michigan. They do not use the letter M on rivalry week. The whole school. Like, you go to classrooms, teachers put X instead of M.
Yeah, like
it's so crazy.
It doesn't get much better than that.
It's so crazy, insane. Literally. Like, when you go to class and your teachers are not writing the letter M, like that's an absurd rivalry.
So now you got me in a bit of a pickle here because I was ready to take the game with my next pick, but now I can't. So now, I think I'm gonna take Duke in North Carolina.
Yeah, that's a great pick. I was so close to picking that.
A college basketball game doesn't get much more intense than that.
The two best college basketball games of the year. They're
especially
so good.
With Coach K's last home game when they played UNC and UNC went out there and beat them.
Okay, UNC has had Duke's number recently. Yeah. Then that same year they played in Coach K's real final game in the Final Four. Yeah. UNC beat them.
That was insane. That like gave UNC such a push, but I think Duke. This year they responded really well, even though North Carolina wasn't as great as they normally are.
UNC has still had their number in the rivalry, but Duke is a better team. And next year, Duke is going to be a better team now with the Boozers going there. So
yeah, I'm taking UNC. And
rivalry
Duke.
Could get even.
I'm taking UNC Duke in my second pick. That's like when you're in a fantasy draft and there's like that guy at the top. This was that guy at the top. I had to take it. So Ian, you got two now. I'm here to see where you go.
All right, so this one. It might not be the most obvious pick, but it's something that I think is a little underrated. I'm going to go Giants-Dodgers in baseball.
Good one. That's a good pick.
That's a good pick.
That's a great pick.
Giants-Dodgers especially, I mean, they've been rivals pretty much their entire, franchise's history.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially more recent years in the 2010s and on. Either they've both been good, and when they are both good, when they met in the playoffs in 2021, that was insane. It just feels like every Giants-Dodgers matchup is must-see TV every single time it's on.
100%.
So yeah. I think that was kind of more of an underrated one, and I think I don't know much about college sports, so I think I'm gonna have to take this one. I think I'm gonna go Knicks-Pacers. Just because of
Knicks Pacers.
I like it.
Again, that's decades of rivalry, man. That's great.
Decades of rivalry. I think Knicks Pacers, especially what we saw this season, it kind of reignited that flame that was so passionate back in the 90s, and honestly, it kind of it definitely has to go up there as a big rivalry, and depending on how good Tyrese Halliburton is when he comes back, maybe it can continue.
I think right now,
For sure.
I think right now Indy has ownership in that rivalry because the past 2 years they've knocked them out of the playoffs. But yeah, I think that's a great one. My next pick, I'm gonna go back to I think college football. I'm gonna take Texas and Oklahoma.
Yep, that's a good one.
That's just
the Red
a great
River.
one.
Red River
the Red
Showdown.
River rivalry.
So good.
You know what I mean? Like
It's played at when a rivalry game is played at a mutual
Yeah.
site every year because of how big the game is. Like
this got so bad that Oklahoma was like banned from like doing this because of like how much it would like piss off like the Texas players and the Texas fans.
And in recent years, it's been so much fun with guys like Baker Mayfield,
Yeah.
Kyler Murray, and on the Texas side, guys like Bijan, guys with swagger
Yeah.
who make the game such an interesting game to watch.
I think Baker's Oklahoma team was the ones that started like planting the flag on the other team's field.
that was at Ohio State.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
No, but Baker's team, they
Yeah,
did
Baker started
They like
that.
did that
Baker
originally,
started
and then
that.
this year they kept doing it and doing it.
Well, this year it got a little like
It got crazy.
It got pretty-
Everybody did.
it was
this
kind of
year.
corny after like the fifth time I saw it, but it's fun, man. Rivalry week, it doesn't get much better than that. So now with my next pick, by the way, in case Boston sports aren't that great this year, because the Celtics, they might take a gap year. Bruins aren't going to be great. Patriots could be good. I just heavily suggest watching college sports. Ian, 100%.
College sports get
It's
crazy.
so much
Yeah,
fun.
no, I'm definitely gonna get more into it now. I just growing up, I was never huge into it.
That was me
Just
too.
because I'm in the Northeast, but
Yeah,
I was huge into pro sports, never really big into college sports, but as time has gone on, especially over the last couple of years, I've decided to watch a little bit more college football and college basketball. So
And it makes sense. We grew up in the Boston Dynasty. We don't really have college sports besides hockey. I mean, what else are we going to watch?
Yeah,
But I got into it like 2 or 3 years ago, and I'm so happy I did. With my next pick, I can't believe none of us have thought of this. College football, Army-Navy.
I was thinking about
The American matchup. It's the final regular season game every year. Like the whole it's a must-watch game. It's always the final game of the regular season.
Yeah.
Army versus Navy.
I was thinking about going with that.
One of the
I had it right
rivalries.
here. But yeah,
It's a game of rivalry, but it's also just a game of respect. It's a game of class. It's the I don't know how to describe it. It's like the most respectful rivalry in all of sports, but they hate each other so much.
Yep. So yeah, you have another pick here.
Such a fun rivalry. Oh my goodness, I do have another pick. So the 401. This is tough. All right, we're gonna go to college hockey. We're in the Northeast here.
We know what's
We
coming.
got BU and BC, the Green Line rivalry, the Battle of Boston. It's always fun when those two teams play. BU, BC. It doesn't get much better than that for college hockey.
Yeah. I think if you're gonna pick a hockey rivalry, you got to go Green Line. I
Yeah.
mean, and I don't know how much hockey you watch. I'm not a huge hockey guy, but I liked watching Pasternak play when the Bruins were good. That was fun. So yeah.
yeah, I was gonna take that one though. So.
All right.
But yeah, that was a good pick.
So
Yeah, you gotta love the Green Line rivalry.
my next one, this is more of like a 4-team rivalry, but I think you guys will understand why I'm picking it. I'm taking the AFC North. Just as a whole.
Just the entire AFC North.
Just because of how bloody it gets.
That's true.
You got
That's
people like
true.
swinging helmets at each other and stuff. Like
and it's been like that forever.
it's really 3 teams because the Browns kind of like are out of it.
Yeah.
But you got the Ravens, the Steelers, and why am I blanking?
Bengals.
The Bengals, who all just like don't like each other at all. Like,
No.
It's what is it? 8 or 6? 8 great games a year? Or is-
8.
Yeah, it's 8 great games every NFL season when the AFC North plays each other. So yeah, I'm gonna go the AFC North just as a division.
Yeah, I mean, and it's been like that for a while. Like, go back to the 2000s when Polamalu was on Pittsburgh, Ray Lewis is on the Ravens. Like,
Yeah.
it's dated back. The AFC North has always been kind of a bloodbath.
So now Ian.
All right, so for my next pick, although I know I don't watch a lot of college sports, I do know a lot about this rivalry. I'm going to pick Auburn, Alabama.
Dang it.
The Iron Bowl, man.
Yeah.
That's a great
Yeah,
pick.
you know,
I can't believe that's flipped.
I was gonna go with that after the AFC North because I thought it would fall, but yeah, that's.
I can't believe the Iron Bowl slipped. I kind of wish I
Yeah.
took the Iron Bowl over
Good-
the.
Good
Oh,
value pick right here.
that's a great pick. That's a great pick.
And then, I don't know, can we do... Okay, I guess I got a couple questions. Can we do individual player rivalries?
So
We talked about this
talked
before.
about it.
But like we were like it depends on who the players are because like if you're gonna do like Bird Magic, we can't. That's like Celtics Lakers kind of. So I'm
So like yeah, you can't. Like if it's like golf or boxing, then yes.
Okay, I guess I can do other ones, but also can we repeat teams?
Yeah,
like if it's one team, yeah.
not the same
I see where
rivalry.
you're going.
Yeah, you can repeat teams.
Yeah. Okay. But I was Okay, so I'm kind of in between two picks here, but I'm gonna go Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning.
That's a
Bang, there you
great
go.
pick. That
go.
deserves a clap. That's a great pick.
There you go.
That's good.
That's
gonna
such
be
a good
my
pick.
for
Oh
the
my
players
gosh.
because I couldn't really decide between Patriots Colts or Patriots Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, that's
honestly,
perfect.
The common denominator was just Brady versus
Just Brady
Manning.
versus Manning.
I think I'm just gonna go with that one. So.
Ian, that was
That
was an unbelievable
best
final pick.
Steal of the draft right there.
Unbelievable final pick.
Unbelievable value at round 5.
So now, I think to just get balance in my sports, I'm gonna go soccer. I'm gonna go Manchester United versus Manchester City.
Great pick. I was just about to say that.
In the Premier,
that is such a good pick.
In the English Premier League, best rivalry in the Premier League. We got La Liga has the best rivalry in soccer. I got the best rivalry in the Premier League.
And the Premier League is
so
the
yeah,
best
I'm gonna go
league in
Man
the
City
world.
versus Man U. Great rivalry every
That
single
is
year.
such a good
Even though
pick.
Manchester United didn't have a great year this year, Man City is obviously a juggernaut. They got Erling Haaland, who's like the best player in the entire world. So yeah, my last pick, I'm gonna go Man City, Man U.
Yeah, that's such a good pick. That's where I was gonna go. So now I'm gonna stay in America. I don't know what to do. I think I'm between a hockey rivalry and a football rivalry. And I think I'm gonna go with hockey. Another Boston one. We're gonna go Bruins Canadians.
So good.
I thought about that one.
Bruins
I thought about
Canadians.
doing that
That's
one.
where we gotta go. It's another one of those like decades of rivalries. The mid 2010s, in the early 2010s, brought some amazing games between like Subban Pacioretty, Chara Bergeron, Carey Price, Tuukka Rask, Tim Thomas. Oh my God, those days were so much fun.
That rivalry
That rivalry in the 2010s was so much
just
fun
fed
to
us
watch.
in the 2010s. It was great. So
Canadians Bruins is.
I don't know
so
if you guys
sick.
have any. I have a couple honorable mentions I want to name real quick.
Yeah, we'll name all of our honorable mentions.
We got like 2.5 minutes left on this meeting. So one of my honorable mentions is Packers-Bears. I want to say the NFC North as a whole because they all just don't like each other, but Packers-Bears is like the face of the franchise of that division. Cowboys-Eagles.
That was
another one. USC and Notre Dame.
That was on mine.
And then my
too.
last honorable mention is Harvard-Yale.
Oh wow! I did not think of Harvard-Yale. That's a great one.
So, yeah,
I can't believe I didn't think of that.
So
I mean, I wasn't gonna. I don't think I was gonna pick them anyway. But that's a good pick.
If you guys have any honorable mentions you want to name, like Ian, you got any?
Yeah, so I had honorable mentions. I had Celtics Heat.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Cavs Warriors, or I guess Curry versus LeBron.
Oh, how did
Curry LeBron like not even like Cavs Warriors not come up?
Yeah, I know how.
I had Cardinals Cubs.
Good one.
Oh, Cards Cubs is a good one.
And Celtics 76ers.
Celtics Sixers is good. So the Celtics have so many rivalries. They hate us because they hate us.
Yeah, that's the motto.
Cardinals Cubs is a great pick, and so is what was the other one? What was the other one you just said?
Was it Curry LeBron?
Yes, yeah, the Cavs Warriors. Yeah.
We just got some fire on the
Cavs Warriors. I don't think so. You said most of mine, and then some of the ones you guys both said. I can't believe I didn't think of.
Yeah, Harvard-Yale was one that.
Harvard-Yale is one I missed. Cavs Warriors, I can't believe neither of us thought of.
I think Ian and I both had like crazy like final round picks.
Bulls Pistons, low key.
Bulls Pistons is a good one. Yeah,
Bulls Pistons.
Pistons.
I can't believe I didn't even think of Brady Manning. That was like the ultimate draft
crazy.
steal. But yeah. That was On the Clock. Ian, we can't thank you enough for coming on.
Thank you very much for coming on the Sports Line, man.
You did not have to do this, guys. Ian is like one of the best creators in all of like the basketball community. Great dude. Ian, it was a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much, dude.
Of course, anytime. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, Ian, it was a great time.
Sir, great time, Ian. Thank you.
I'll be checking your Twitter for any other updates that happen with the Celtics. Always appreciate the insight. I hope you have a great rest of your day, man.
Yep, have a good one, man.
You too. Have a good one.
So yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for today's very special episode of the Sports Wire.
Yeah.
I mean, man,
that was incredible. We can't thank Ian enough for coming on.
Absolutely.
Just a great dude. If you guys don't follow him, go follow him.
Yeah, if you haven't followed him yet, follow him on TikTok, Instagram,
sub to him on YouTube,
everything,
wherever
all of
you
it.
can. Great dude. He's great at providing insight with Boston sports.
And he
Great
makes some
dude.
good skits too.
Great skits. Gets hype. Great dude overall. So yeah, I'm Tyler.
I'm Andrew.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys next week.